吵闹的主日学氛围。他是 Bill Wilson 牧师，大都会国际儿童事工创办人，总是无畏环境险恶，以孩童安危为优先。这份异于常人的勇敢，其实源自于他童年遭到母亲遗弃，在街头孤立无援的境况。当时信有基督徒的爱与关怀，才得以存活。过去的经历使他跟孩子零距离，至今保持初衷，接送孩子们上下儿童主日学。因为每接一位孩子，就如同帮助当年的自己。
Your ministry for children, that is very well known around the world. So my first question is, why make you so interested about children?
Yeah. So oftentimes when people have problems in their lives, they use it as an excuse. They become a victim. They want people to feel sorry for them. But to answer your question, we have to go back to my childhood. My mother, who was an alcoholic, and I were walking down the street one day there in America, and I knew something was wrong. We sat on the street corner. She looked at me, and she said, Bill, she said, I can't do this anymore. You wait here.
How old were you?
I was 12 years old.
Okay.
And I watched my mother walk down the street. She never came back. I sat there for 3 days. No food, no water. Hundreds of people drove by. Hundreds of people walked by. Now remember, this was 1960. And you would have thought that someone would have stopped. But no one stopped until 3 days later, when a very ordinary Christian, his own son was in the hospital dying of leukemia.
Wow.
But he still stopped. He pulls his car over, gets out of his car, walks across the street to where I'd been sitting, puts his hand on my shoulder, and just says, are you okay? That's it. Mm-hmm. There was no bright lights, no cameras, just a little boy that nobody wanted, and the ordinary Christian. And I used to stutter really bad when I was little. I could never speak right. And I tried to tell him my mother was gone and I was just hungry. And immediately, he gets his wife. She comes back. They bring me food and water. He gets on the phone. And 5 hours after this meeting, he's loading me in a church van, sends me to a Sunday school camp. I've never been to church in my life, have no point of understanding of anything church, religion, Jesus, anything.
You have no idea about that.
Nothing. No point of reference. But I'm sitting in this Sunday school camp, and I had holes in the knees of my pants. I had a hole in my T-shirt. I was wearing the only clothes I had. They were the same clothes that he picked me up off the street in. It's all I had. And I remembered sitting in that service for the kids in camp with my hands like this. I was so embarrassed. But when I heard the man say, if you want Jesus, come to the front. Get out of my seat. I came to the front, and I was watching the other kids, and they were talking to Jesus. I didn't understand it, but I tried to pray. I've never prayed, didn't know how, but I tried. I even remember what I said. I said, Jesus, my mother doesn't want me. I said, but if you want me, here I am. And in my own way, I gave my life to Christ, and he took me just the way I was.
So how did you start your ministry in New York by yourself? How did you start?
Well, like I said, I knew I was going to start on Saturday because my mother was a barmaid. She worked in a bar there in the town in Florida. And I remembered every Saturday. I hated Saturday.
You hate Saturday.
Because she would take me with her to work in the bar, and I had to clean the toilets in the bar. That was my job. I was 10 years old. And that's why when I went to New York City to start Metro World Child Sunday School, I started the Sunday school on Saturday. So I rented a little church They're in one of the toughest neighborhoods in America. I went to the pastor. I said, are you using your building on Saturday? He said, no. I said, can I rent it for several hours on Saturday to work with the children? He said, yes. I thought, great, I've got a building. But I thought, I need buses, because that's what I did all through my ministry. I'd pick kids up, bring them to church. So I found a place that rented buses. So we made a deal. I thought, okay, I've got the church, now I've got the buses, but how am I going to get the kids? Here's the challenge. So I had this Yogi Bear costume.
Like teddy bear?
Like a big teddy bear.
Okay.
Yeah, best way we can explain it. So I had a big old teddy bear. So I made friends with a couple of drug addicts. One of the drug addicts, I got him into the teddy bear costume. And then I got a truck, an open bed truck. So I put this drug addict in the bear costume in the back of the truck. And then I got the drug dealer to drive the truck.
Wow, drug dealer drive the car.
Oh, yeah. So
wow.
then I was in the back of the truck, and every day for a week, I had this megaphone, bullhorn, where I could yell at everybody. And every day we'd go to a different school, and we would have the truck pull up, and here's the teddy bear, here's Yogi Bear waving to the kids. The kids have never seen anything like this. And the drug dealer, he's looking for the police. and I'm in the back with the megaphone, kid, and I had flyers, papers, come over, see Yogi Bear, see the teddy bear. And the kids would gather around the truck, and I'd give them all papers, and I said, be outside Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, and a big bus is gonna come by and pick you up. We're gonna take you to Sunday school. They didn't know what I was saying, but they were so excited. And so we did that every day for a week. And then Saturday came around.
The first Saturday.
First Saturday, we had 1,010 kids.
First Saturday?
The first Saturday that showed up. It was the biggest mess you've ever seen in your life, because these kids were just excited. They wanted to see the teddy bear.
How did you feel like for the first Saturday you have 1,000 kids?
Yeah. I wasn't sure how I felt because it was almost overwhelming. I didn't expect it.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought we'd have, maybe 100, maybe. And then all of a sudden, we had 1,000 kids.
Wow.
And a lot of them couldn't even come in because the building wasn't big enough. So the second week, we had to go to 2 services. And the third week, we had to go to 3 services. And that was the beginning.
Yeah, and I heard about the story about the volunteer. She's a woman that she joined your team. She joined your bus, but she even can speak English, right?
Yeah. It was an amazing thing. She came from Puerto Rico, Spanish lady, but could speak no English. She said, Pastor Bill, I have to serve the Lord. He saved me. He's brought me out of a horrible life. I have to serve him. She said, how can I serve in the ministry? And honestly, I didn't know what to say. She couldn't speak English. How was she going to communicate? I said, we have 50 buses. We pick up the kids to teach them about Jesus. Get on a different bus every week and love the kids. It's all I could think of. I didn't know what else she could do. I didn't really think she'd do it, but she did. Went on for several months. Then she came again with the interpreter. Said, Pastor Bill, I don't want to change buses. I want to stay on that bus. I thought, okay. I didn't ask why. I said, that's fine. Well, I talked to the bus driver.
Yes.
And I said, what's the deal with that lady? He said, I don't know, but she found this little boy on the bus. Something happened. She connected with this one little boy, little 6-year-old boy. But he would always sit like this. He never talked. So this went on for a couple of more months. He wouldn't speak, and she would just whisper all the way to Sunday school, all the way home. I love you. Jesus loves you. He would just sit. And it was 2 weeks before Christmas. Normal Saturday. We just finished Sunday school, got the kids back on the bus. The bus pulled up in front of the drug house where the little boy lived. And Our Lady, one last time, I love you. Jesus loves you. And usually he would just get off the bus, go in and come in the back of that house. But today was different. He got off her lap and he turned his back to the rest of the kids so they couldn't hear him. He took his hands like this, put them on this lady's face. He drew her face close to him. And he tried to say, la, you too. He was trying to tell her, I love you too. That's why he never spoke. Nobody knew it. He couldn't speak. We didn't know it until that day. He tried to tell her, I love you too. And he just gave her a big hug. That was 2:30 on a Saturday afternoon. At 6:30 that night, they found that little boy dead in a garbage bag, thrown away behind that drug house.
4 hours later.
Yeah. That afternoon, that little boy's mother beat him to death, threw him in a garbage bag, and threw him away. But one of the last things that little boy heard before he died from a lady couldn't even speak the language. I love you. Jesus loves you. And there's a little boy in heaven today, and nobody will ever convince me otherwise. Because one ordinary little Christian lady who couldn't speak the language, was not highly educated, never heard an audible voice sending her into the ministry, but she loved that little boy. And he knew it. He knew it. He knew it. And that, Lulu, is the very reason why Metro World Child Sunday School exists. Because of kids like that. At 70 years old, people ask, why do you still drive the bus? Yeah, because when I drive the bus and I pick up those kids, you know who I'm picking up. I'm picking up me. That's me.